Okay, so our next program is Why Be an Entrepreneur? Every Saturday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Why Be an Entrepreneur? Where we'll explore the benefits and challenges of entrepreneurship and how to establish successful businesses. The presenter is Imam Tariq Abdul Mu'min, and he is the founder at Entrepreneurs and Development Institute. So, Imam Mu'min, the mic is yours.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
I pray everyone is well, and I'm gonna go with your intro and go ahead and get started if that's acceptable with everyone. Let
Ye-
me. I'm trying to say send a request to share.
Okay, I stopped my share, so then put you in the host seat. Okay, so now
Do I
you can
need
do. Yeah,
to
you
hit
can
share
share.
again?
Yes,
Okay.
sir. It is loading. It's loading now. Okay, you're now sharing.
Okay. Okay. Again, assalamu alaikum. As we've started off doing, we want to talk about the Entrepreneurs and Development Institute. Our program topic is why be an entrepreneur, even though we discuss numerous of topics. And as you can see on the screen that we are sharing, it's a quote from Imam Muhammad. He said, I think as Muslims, we should just shout when someone says, come, let us make an effort to improve our business circumstances. We should just shout, hey, let's go, let's go. We should be ready to go. Now, uh, the little image up top is um, I would guess say, an image of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. May God be pleased with him. And it's showing that he's encouraging a person to get up and do for self. Now, I added to that image, as you can see on that briefcase, we are helping people do for self. And so we started probably around 2015, but I got more organized in 2019 doing this and everything. So again, I'm the founder and director of the Entrepreneurs and Development Institute. And we want to thank AM 360 and those who make up that body for selecting us to host this program, Why Be an Entrepreneur. And so this organization is organized to make sure that the enthusiasm for business growth stays with us, to make sure as many people as possible are involved with business in our neighborhoods. We're promoting and keeping things happening. I'm gonna have to, I'm trying to move this one here. And let me just go over here with it. And I have a few quotes here from Imam Muhammad. May God have him in the best place in the paradise, along with his father. He said, our business people have to see our roots in the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's call to financial responsibility, to business development, to some economic plan. We can't deny him that credit that he has earned. He was the one who excited us, the African American people. It was an excitement to have a bigger appetite for not only wealth, but also for bigger responsibility that gives bigger respect to a people. And we quote again, we have to grow financially. Our community cannot support our schools, our mosques, our religious and spiritual needs if we don't have money. We have to have some money. I'm not going to be stupid sitting around here waiting on some rich Arab, some rich Iranian to give us some money. I don't want that. My self-respect don't want that. So the best way is the way that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us, do for self. And we already did this one in the intro. I bypassed that one. And I quote Imam again. We have come to a point in our growth as a Muslim community in America that if we don't create finances for ourselves and for our children, we can't and won't grow anymore as an impactful, productive Muslim community in America. We quote again, Imam. You just can't have Islamic life in your heart, in your spirit. Islamic life has to be expressed in Islamic structures. Islamic life has to be expressed in halal business. Islamic life has to be expressed in homes owned by Muslims and factories owned by Muslims. Yes, in productive land owned by Muslims, and products for shipping and transportation, pardon me, for shipping products owned by Muslims, in cars and buses, trucks and trains and airplanes owned by Muslims. Last one. We cannot have a healthy community or a healthy morale for our community if we don't have a showing in business growth or business development. It is a must. It will be heavy on our soul. It will be taxing our spirit if we don't have a business showing in our community. Business is a must. You have to produce for yourself. Take care of your own. That means your own neighborhood too. We need people of like interests, especially business interests. If you know each other and you know something is happening in your area by persons of good character, and they are contributing to the business growth of our association or members, their people in their locale should try to tie up with them. If they have like minds and like interests, tie together. And we do need organizations that organize just to make sure that the enthusiasm for business growth stays with us and to make sure as many people as possible are involved with the business of our neighborhood. We need organizations, just of business people, to promote and keep things happening. And so this is where I got the term of the entrepreneur, well, the quote about us for the Entrepreneurs and Development Institute, pardon me. After reading this, I drafted that for our about us statement. And I was influenced heavily, foremost and first, by my studies into the Quran and the life of the Prophet, prayers and peace be upon him. We all know that he was a businessman before Allah selected him to be the recipient of his last word to the Huseman family. And I think we know Imam Muhammad's language enough that to know that he's talking about us as a people in the quote unquote African American family as well. So we're not excluding our Christian African American family from this, and even if they don't identify with a faith tradition, and we will accept them as long as they don't oppose us and everything. So next we want to just briefly look at something. We want to always, as Muslims, we always reference the Book of Allah in any and everything that we do. And why I'm pulling up this next slide, if there's anyone who would like to make some comments on those expressions from Imam Muhammad, it's your time to do it while I'm pulling up this next slide. Go ahead. Last call. Well, I wouldn't say last call. Is there anyone need to make some comments before I get the next slide up on those statements that Imam Muhammad made? No one? which one I want to go with. Thought I had. And we should always use the Quran to help us stay motivated. And Allah says in the Quran, there's nothing He has omitted from the book. And so, okay. Is that screen sharing?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. And I think we may have seen this in my first or second show, but still, each time we go and look at a verse in the Quran, we get something new out of it. Well, I know I do. So this is from chapter Fatirah Surah, the Surah Fatirah, that is chapter 35, verse 29. And it's talking about how to overcome your fears you might have of business failure. And Allah says here, God says in here, and He say, "Inna ladina yatluna," and He's speaking to us in the present future tense. Too. This is not past tense, because if you look here on that screen, and I'm gonna try to keep this from being so much of a Quranic Arabic piece, but we must point out these things. Here where you see that, yeah, if you can see that arrow on it, yeah, that make this a present future tense act. Okay. So we're talking about as we hear now. Yet Luna, that those who study or recite the book of God and establish the prayer, and we spend what God has provided for them. You can do this secretly, or you can do this in the open. God say again, yeah, here, Yarjuna, another present, present future tense verb, Yarjun. Yarjuna, you can have an expectation or hope of your business, tijaratin lan tabur. And again, never, and then he ended with another present future tense verb, tabur. So we have to think about that all the time. You might say, "Ooh, but I had a setback." That don't mean you fail. That's just to make you get up and try it again. You don't look at failure. And uh, one of in the next, if you look over here to the left, uncovering the causes of failure, it talks about a lack of a definite purpose, goal, or chief aim. Number two, lack of ambition to move past mediocrity. Number three, a negative mental attitude. Number four, a lack of self-discipline. Number five, lack of vision and imagination sufficient to recognize favorable opportunities. So before I go on to just one more verse here, and the other remaining five of these, do anyone have any input or comments before I go on?
Yes.
Go ahead. Be brief. Be brief.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I just want to make sure that I understand what it is that you're saying. I see the Arabic, and you get it. I don't get it to that degree, but thank you for putting on this side, the other side, the left-hand side, these uncovering the causes of failure. What I see as lack of definite purpose and goal or chief aim, you're saying that's lack of a plan?
Now, are you talking about where I have come out in number one here?
Yeah, I mean, you see, because you have the Arabic point, and I know that that's might be what inspired you to that degree. I don't see, I don't see it, but you see it, and I say alhamdulillah that you see it, because you was able to give us the left-hand side. But what I see when you say uncovering the causes of failure, lack of a definite purpose, goal, or chief aim, is that saying you're saying lack of a plan?
Well, let me share this much with you. Let me go to that next, and then you can see let me tell you where I got this from, and I just thought it was fitting to share it in this with this format. I got it from Think and Grow Rich, a Black Choice by Dennis Kimbrough and Napoleon Hill. That come from that particular book. And he was just talking about the causes of failure. And as you can see, the remaining 5 talks about use of race, gender, or circumstances as a reason for inactivity. And that should be 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. But a lack of belief in the existence of an infinite intelligence, ill health, lack of persistence, in carrying through to finish that which you start, unwillingness to go the extra mile or render a service, the habit of running away from unpleasant circumstances instead of mastering them. And the last one, the desire to get something from nothing. So
Okay,
that was
can you go back to that page for a
the
moment?
the other one. Yes, sir, we will do. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
because again, number one, when I saw this, I saw lack of a definite purpose, goal, or aim as lack of a plan. The second one, I saw a lack of ambition to move past mediocrity is, that, whatever it is that you start small and it's mediocre. It's simple. It's to move past that and to move into something bigger than
Mhm.
just the small thing that you have. And when I saw a negative mental attitude, I saw that that's what comes up in people, the negative, the shaitan. Oh, you can't do it. Well,
Right,
what are you doing this for? That's what I
right.
saw. And the lack of self-discipline is explanatory. Especially when doing business, you have to have discipline as far as finances is concerned. You have to have discipline as far as being consistent on a daily basis about pursuing this goal and objective. And it was like you said, like sometimes that's going to come up. And what I've used in a situation like that is if you get knocked down in the ring, get up and take a swing. That means you're still in the fight. You know what I mean? And the
That's
lack
a
of
good
vision and
one.
imagination sufficient to recognize favorable opportunities is very important because like if you don't have vision and imagination on what it is that you're doing as far as business is concerned, then that means that your business is not going to grow. You can't see where you're going to the next level.
Right.
So that's what I got out of it, and that's what I wanted to share. Thank you.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome. And then and so the verse 30, Allah goes to say, he will give them, and he's still speaking in the present future tense. Li yu rafi excuse me. Li yu wafi yahum. He will give them ujurahum their rewards, and then he have another word, present future
Mhm,
tense.
mhm.
Why? And I like pointing this out because we have to see that this is taking place in at the present time. Why Yazid Dahum, and he will increase for them or in them their bounty. And he says, truly, God is forgiving one who
Alhamdulillah.
appreciate. So
Alhamdulillah.
that's why you when we because we again I think with the comments from Dennis Kimbrough, and it's more other sources I've have on here, and I have some things following this. We won't get into it today, and maybe next week. What Imam Muhammad said about us as a people when it comes to fear and being in business, okay, and everything. So, but when I read
Yeah.
this verse right here, that did so much for me. Even if I've
Alhamdulillah.
had many business setbacks, but I didn't
Alhamdulillah.
give up. I have not given up. And if
Allahu
you ever
Akbar.
been a business person or trying to be a business person, sales go up and down. And it's very challenging. And you want to give up. You got family, you got friends, as I think I did show from that scene from Raising in the Sun, when the conversation was being had between the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law concerning the investment of that check that they was getting. The mother-in-law said, well, Ruth, besides that, we're not no business people. We're just plain everyday working people. And then she came back, the daughter-in-law said, well, just like Walter Lee said, and ain't nobody business people until they go into business, which is true. So we have to conquer our fears of failure. We're gonna fail, but we can't give up. Now, so we want to start with that one. And where are we? Okay. Because I might not be able to cover the topics that we want to look at today. We're not trying to rush. We're going to look at how to come up with a business name. We're going to look at how to choose a structure. And based on the time, we're going to look at the NIS codes. If not, we will pick up on this next week. And okay, here we are. Bear with me. I'm gonna get used to all this soon. So we're up on the screen. Okay. Now this is how to come up with a business name. Ways to come up with a business name. Starting a new business takes energy, passion, and courage. You've written your business plan, or at least the one-page version of the business canvas. You've talked to some potential clients and other small business owners in a similar field, and you're ready to go for it. The only thing missing, a name. In this presentation, we'll inspire you with 20 ways to come up with a business name. The choices to select from: use acronyms, create mashups, get inspiration from mythology and literature, use foreign words, use your own name, take a look at a map, use your name with a location, partner with another company, leverage nicknames, use a symbol. And the next one, make it descriptive, use Latin, look at your product from another angle, abbreviate, make a grammar mistake on purpose, invent an alternate spelling, tell your story, talk about what you believe in, remove or add an extra letter. Pick a word from the dictionary. Now I'm gonna go back up here real briefly to where it says use Latin again. This information was gathered. A lot of it I got from reading different sources dealing with business, entrepreneurs, Black Enterprise, Forbes, Investopedia, and other sources. And I was interested in what the person wrote these pieces was talking about. So that's where I got some information from and created these PowerPoint presentations from. So that is when you go back up here where it says use Latin, that was just the person who put this piece together use Latin. When I chose my name for particularly the other business effort that I have, and I chose a word from the Arabic language for that particular business. So I just wanted to point that out. A good business name. Do anyone have any questions before I start on this? Statements, real brief. Okay, we'll go on. A good business name can make your customers remember you easily. It could mean free publicity, or it could help you and your future employees to remember why you're doing what you're doing. There are specialized naming companies that charge thousands of dollars for finding a name that's new, trendy, industry-wise, memorable, and isn't trademarked. However, if you're starting a business, you might have other priorities and a budget that doesn't allow you to spend that money in a name. I think that should have been on a name. In this presentation, we're going to give you a few ideas on how to name your business by looking at some of the most well-known brands from around the world. And here are the examples, starting with acronyms. I'm gonna kind of paraphrase this without reading each sentence in this fullness. And as an acronym, if you look on the screen, the example for AOL, which was America Online, BBC, British Broadcasting Corporation, and BENQ, bringing enjoyment and quality to life. An example of a mashup, and you look at Compaq, come from computer, and pack. Evernote, from forever and note. Groupon, from group and coupon. Lego, from the Danish leggot, which means to play well. Get inspiration from mythology. And let's talk about the Greek and Roman legends. For example, ASUS, from the mythical winged horse Pegasus. Nike, the goddess of victory. And Samsonite, they got their name from the Bible character Samson. Starbucks, from Starbuck, the young chief mate of the Picard in Moby Dick. Foreign words, Audi, Latin translation of the German name Horch. Alta Vista, Spanish for high view. Daewoo, great house in Korean, or you can use your own name. And the examples are Bear, which is from Frederick Bear, was the founder of the company. We're talking about Bear aspirins. Excuse me. Bowen, after William E. Bowen. And Grundy, named after the founder, Max Grundy. And Cadillac, after the French explorer Antoine Lamoute. I'm gonna mess this one up. I've been struggling with it for a long time. De Motte Seigneur de Cadillac. And I was listening to, if I might make a debate just a little bit on that, and I was looking at a little clip on social media that it was the African-American community that bought the Cadillac Corporation back from bankruptcy when their sales went down. And it was very impressive that the person was talking about it. And the person that was talking about it was a Caucasian male, made mention of this. He said, take a look at a map. Adobe, after the Adobe Creek running close to the founder's house. Amazon was named after the largest river in the world by volume of water. Fuji, named after the highest mountain in Japan. So now mixing things up, and the examples are DKNY, Donna Karen, New York. IKEA, from the founder's name, Ingvar Kamprad, and where he grew up is Elmtrad, I have difficulties pronouncing that Agunnaryd. If someone know how to pronounce it, please do. Number 8, partner with another company. An example, you see Ben and Jerry's, a 20th Century Fox. Nicknames, that's number 9. Mercedes, which is named after the daughter of one of the founders. And Dion, named after the founder's son's childhood nickname. And so they don't sound strange anymore, do they? And the last one, the use of a symbol. Another way to come up with a business name is to take a symbol or an essential element of your work and create a new name starting with that word. Pixar, for example, is a combination of the word pixel and the initials of one of its founders, Alvy Ray Smith. And on the symbol, we might remember that when Prince was having problems with the record company, he started using the sign of a symbol to, as his name and everything. So anyone have any comments, feedback to before we move on, please do. Anyone? Okay, we'll go on to the next one. Let me see where we are. Okay. All right, make it descriptive. And you can see they gave an example of 7-Eleven. And the use of Latin, we find the example of Acer, Latin for sharp able, Volvo, Iro, Verizon, from the Latin vertus, which means truth and horizon. You can look at your product from another angle. And they chose to give that example with BlackBerry and Caterpillar. Abbreviate. The example is like Cisco from San Francisco, where the company was founded. Make a grammar mistake. Example is quora. For example, could be seen as a fake plural of the Latin quorum, public assembly. Too quick here. Invent an alternate spelling. An example is Reebok, alternate spelling of Reebok, an African antelope. Tell your story. An example is Kinvilo, unable to decide on a name. The company was called Kinvilo. Yes, Sandu in Hebrew. Virgin, the founder's way of saying they were completely new to business. And Mozilla, created as the Mosaic, and internet browser killer were born the same way. Talk about what you believe in. The examples is Menoto, for example, means your principle, what you believe in. Remove or add an extra letter. And the example is Flickr and Tumblr. Pick a word from the dictionary. And it's showing us here Blizzard and Twitter. And and just picked a random word from the dictionary. And another one was the group, the Commodores. They chose their name from, started out with choosing a name from the dictionary. but when I forgot which one was it, but his finger landed on commode. So they definitely was not going to go with that. So they went with Commodores. So that's the end of that one there. Do anyone have any comments? Please do so before we go on. Okay. We will go to the next one. How to choose your business structure. So now we're going to talk about choosing your business structure or your business entity. So we're pleased to assist you in starting your business. What may seem like a daunting task may be accomplished with relative ease once you have chosen the type of business which best fits your needs. It is important to consider all of the possibilities when choosing your business structure. Business entities. Business may be conducted in the 50 states using different types of entities, which may require registration with the designated state agency. Each has advantages and disadvantages. When choosing, when choosing how you want to operate your business, it is important to keep in mind how many owners you will have, the relationship among the co-owners, the ability to sell your ownership interest, liability for taxes and business debts, record keeping requirements. Now, the following information is for educational purpose only. You should consult with an attorney or CPA to determine the appropriate type of entity before setting up your business. Because I am not the person to help you with that. I'm just sharing this brief information that I researched on. And they are cooperative, profit corporation, the business entities, that is the cooperative, profit corporation, nonprofit corporation, general partnership, and you can limited partnership, limited liability company, LLC, family limited partnership, FLP, limited liability partnership, LLP, limited liability limited partnership, LLLP, professional limited liability partnership. And some of these may or may not exist in your state. I do know, I must say, the family limited partnership is not available here in the state of Mississippi, that designation. So, and also it's like 15 states, and I have it here on the slide, all the states, but it's like 15 of the states that do not use the Secretary of State's office to register your business. Now, here in Mississippi, we use the Secretary of State office to register business. But again, it's like 15 of them, I think, use another government agency in that state. Okay. Now, cooperative, aka co-op, aka cooperative or co-op or coop, is an autonomous association of persons united voluntarily to meet their their common economic, social, and cultural needs and aspirations through a jointly owned enterprise. Cooperatives cooperatives are democratically owned by members, which with each member having one vote in electing the board of directors. Cooperatives may include businesses owned and managed by the people who use their services, a consumer cooperative, organizations managed by the people who work there, worker cooperatives, multi-stakeholders or hybrid cooperatives that share ownership between stakeholder groups. Second and third tier cooperatives whose members are other cooperatives. Platform cooperatives that use a cooperatively owned and governed website, mobile app, or a protocol to facilitate the sale of goods and services. Profit corporation. A corporation generally does mean an organization seeking profit. However, it has both modern forms and is also to some other types of organizations as seen below. Excuse me. B corporations. A number of for-profit corporations have opted to gain this status. Most get this certificate in order to show their concern for the society. A benefit corporation does aim to gain profit, but also believes in playing a role for the society in terms of considering the environment of the society when crafting its policies. Their status is actually issued by a nonprofit organization called B Labs. They are accepted as legal entities in several states in the United States. Nonprofit corporation. Have been incorporated on the laws of jurisdiction for the purposes other than making profits for its owners or shareholders. Depending on the laws of the jurisdiction, a nonprofit corporation may seek official recognition as a nonprofit corporation. Depending on the laws of jurisdiction, a nonprofit corporation may seek official recognition as such and may be taxed differently from for-profit corporation and treated differently in other ways. Public benefit nonprofit corporation chartered by a state government and organized primarily or exclusively for social, educational, recreational, or charitable purpose by like-minded citizens. Religious corporation is organized to promote religious purposes. They are formed by filing articles of incorporations with the state. They need to have the standard tax exempt language of this language the IRS requires. Mutual benefit nonprofit corporation is a type of nonprofit chartered by a state government that exists to serve its members in ways other than obtaining and distributing profits to them. Therefore, it cannot obtain IRS 501c3 nonprofit status as a charitable organization. General partnership, GP. The basic form of partnership under common law is in most countries an association of persons or an unincorporated company with the following major features. Must be created by agreement, proof of existence, estoppel, the going back on his or her word, formed by two or more persons. The owners are jointly and severely liable for any legal actions and debts the company may face, unless otherwise provided by law or in the agreement. It is a partnership in which partners share equally in both responsibility and liability. Limited partnership. This LP, this business entity is a partnership with two levels of partnership: general partners and limited. A general partner makes the business decision and controls the business. The limited partners have a stake in the company, usually through investments of capital, but has limited control over business decisions. General partners are personally liable for the debts and obligations of the partnership. Limited partners are only liable to the extent of their investment in the company. Earnings for all partners are generally taxed as personal income. Limited liability companies, LLC, is the U.S. specific form of a private limited company. It is a business structure that can combine the pass-through taxation of a partnership or sole proprietorship with the legal liability of a corporation. It is a legal form of a company that provides limited liability to its owners in many jurisdictions. LLCs offer flexibility to business owners. An LLC is a hybrid legal entity having certain characteristics of both a corporation and a partnership or sole proprietorship, depending on how many owners there are. As a business entity, an LLC is often more flexible than a corporation and may be well suited for companies with a single owner. Family Limited Partnership, FLP, are frequently used to move wealth from one generation to another. Partners are general partners, GP, are limited partners, LP. One or more general partners are responsible for managing the FLP, but typically lack two noteworthy rights: control and marketability. Limited partners have no ability to control, direct, or otherwise influence the operations of the FLP. They can neither buy additional assets nor sell existing assets, and they cannot act on the partnership's behalf. They also sustainably lack the ability to sell their interests, with one typical exception: transfers to immediate family members, spouse, siblings, and direct linear descendants and ascendants. FLPs are partnerships limited to family members, hence the name. Limited Liability Partnership, LLP, is a partnership in which some or all partners, depending on jurisdiction, have limited liabilities. If it therefore can exhibit elements of partnerships and cooperation. In an LLP, each partner is not responsible or liable for another partner's misconduct or negligence. In an LLP, each partner is not responsible or liable for another. That was a mistake on my part. I typed it twice, so I bypassed that. And LLP also contain a different level of tax liability from a corporation. Okay, here we go. Limited liability partnership, LLLP, is a relatively new modification of the limited partnership. The LLLP form of business entity is recognized under United States commercial law. An LLLP is a limited partnership, and it consists of one or more general partners who are liable for the obligations of the entity, as well as more protected liability limited partners. Typically, general partners manage the LLLP, while the limited partner's interest is purely financial. Thus, the most common use of limited partnership is for purposes of investment. Professional limited liability partnership, PLLP, is a business structure that's designed for licensed professionals such as accountants, law, and doctors, typically professions who require a professional license. Some states do not allow licensed professionals to form an LLC since they don't want them to escape personal responsibility for professional malpractice by hiding behind the personal liability protection of an LLC. Instead, they allow professionals to form an LLC, but specific rules vary by state. They differ from regular LLCs in that only a license holder, doctor, lawyer, others, may register the company, and there may be limitations on ownership. Some states require all of the members have the specific license for service offered, while in others, it may be as low as 50% professional ownership. In all states, the required PLLC's notification and approval of the state regulatory board for that profession must be obtained. For instance, a physician partnering with other doctors in a PLLC would have to get approval from the state medical board before filing with the Secretary of State. And that came from, again, from what I know here in the state of Mississippi that exists. And so here are some of the things you need to reach out to: the Internal Revenue Service. Many entities such as corporations and nonprofits are required to obtain a federal tax ID number or a federal employee identification number. Other entities may need this number, particularly if the business will have employees. You must contact the IRS in order to obtain a tax ID number, and you this at the irs.gov for more information. And then this is a copy of an SS4 form. This is I don't know what the current went too quick. I don't know what the current one looked like, because this was revised in January of 2010. But the most important thing is you have to start with Form SS4. Form SS4. You can go to the irs.gov. You can download the form, fill it out, mail it back in, or download it, fill it out, and call it back in, and everything. A little tip that I learned, being in the Central Time Zone, I don't know if their office still exists in Memphis. I used to always, they closed at 5 o'clock, and I used to always do it for people, help them out, and I would call between 4 and 5. Because they'd be trying to go to the house, and so they'll go ahead and get it done. But if you do it online, the time might be, I don't know the time for you to receive approval. Definitely if you mail it, it's going to be a longer time, but it's the Form SS4, and you can download all of this. You can get instructions, et cetera, et cetera. And then if you have questions, pick up the phone and call someone there, and they would help you out, as well as your state agency too. So again, the information I basically said, or get some legal advice, or personal legal or certified to help you with that. And you want to look possibly looking at some unemployment insurance if you're going to have employees, or maybe for yourself. And again, this information presented is for educational purposes. Observers should consult with an attorney or CPA to determine the appropriate type of entity before starting your business. So anyone have any questions or comments on that? Why change over, please? You all still with me? Are you all still with me? Hello? You all still there?
Yes, we're still here, brother. We're still here.
Oh, I didn't get no feedback. Did I say something I shouldn't have said? Put me in check now. Let me know. Okay.
Right. Long way go.
Anyone got any feedback while I go to my? Let me see where we are and what time we on, because oh man, I'm just completing my first hour. Ooh, I'm rushed. I'm going too fast, am I? Any feedback, questions? If I can't answer them, hopefully someone is on the phone can answer, because again, thus for many of these screens that presentation I've shown, I don't have any experience in this. It came about because I wanted to find out what all this stuff was for me, and it led me to where I'm at now. And so, but again, that's why I have certain things you had to reach out to qualified, licensed, professional people to help you out.
Yeah, you're doing a great job. And
Thank
I mean,
you.
you gave us so much information. That's why no one is saying anything. You told us, I mean, a whole lot of stuff. We had no idea what was going on.
Well, I'm still trying to learn. I'm still trying to learn on what's going on, because I'm a baby in this. And one thing I find out, growing up, my father, we would ask him questions. I can't say the full response he gave us in this setting, but anyway, he said go look it up. I didn't get it then, and I didn't too much approve of how he was saying it, but he said what he said, and that stayed with me in all these years, and that's what I go do. I go look up stuff. Yeah,
if you say you're a baby, then brother, we are infants. I've been in business for a long time. A lot of these different destinations that you've been saying about the LLC, all those stuff you're saying, is you say, like I say, if you're a baby, then we are infants.
Yeah. Well, again, and going on, it's been at least 15, 20 years ago when I started out and everything, because I came from a working class family,
Right.
And so when I tried to open up my first business, I called it the Department of Treasury. They said, no, we don't do that here. We do just the Secretary of State. And everybody was nice and very helpful.
Right,
That's right. And everything. So I said, okay, how many other people out here don't know this? So that's what led me to where I am today, and what we're trying to do with educating people the basics of everything. And so and that's just where it was. Now this slide here, I wasn't going to really get into it, but this one here is showing where to register a business in your state. Okay, and this here is in alphabetical order, and we might not. I'm not going to just go through it's alphabetical order. Alabama, they use the Secretary of State's office, and it's showing you the different designations. At the time I put this together, now it could have changed by now because I have not updated this, but it's showing you the type of entities that's allowed in the state of Alabama. Alaska, and they use the Department of Commerce. and community and economic development. Arizona.
By the way, I'm just let you know I'm on the road, so if I
Go ahead. All right.
if I don't respond anymore, I'm on the road.
Yes, sir. Arizona Corporation Commission. Arkansas, Secretary of State, and showing you their entities. California, Secretary of State. Colorado, Department of State. Connecticut, Secretary of State. Delaware, Division of Corporations. Florida, Division of Corporations. Georgia, Secretary of State. Hawaii, Department of Commerce and Consumer Affairs Business Registration Division. Idaho, Secretary of State. Illinois, Secretary of State. Indiana, Secretary of State. Iowa, Secretary of State. Kansas, Secretary of State. Kentucky, Secretary of State. Louisiana, Secretary of State. Maine, Department of Secretary of State. Maryland, Department of Assessment and Taxation. Massachusetts, Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Michigan, Licensing and Regulatory Affairs. Minnesota, Secretary of State. And in Mississippi, Secretary of State. Missouri, Secretary of State. Montana, the same, Secretary of State. Nebraska, Secretary of State. Nevada, Secretary of State. New Hampshire, Secretary of State. New Jersey just has the state of New Jersey. And then, but if you go to any of these websites, they'll tell you where to go. New Mexico, Secretary of State. New York, Department of State. North Carolina, Secretary of State. And I do know many of them, you don't have to live in the state to register business in the state. And I know Mississippi has, there are a lot of people outside to register business in here, in this state. Dakota, Secretary of State. Ohio, Secretary of State. Oklahoma, Secretary of State. Oregon, Secretary of State. Pennsylvania, Department of State. Rhode Island, Department of State. South Carolina, Secretary. Thought they had there. That was my mistake. That's what was Secretary of State. South Dakota, Secretary of State. Tennessee, Secretary of State. Texas, Secretary of State. Utah, Secretary of State. Vermont, Secretary of State. Virginia, State Corporation Commission. Washington, Secretary of State. West Virginia, Secretary of State. State of Wisconsin, Department of Financial Institutions. Wyoming, Secretary of State. And that's where I got them separated here. It's 14 states that use another agency to register your business in. Yeah. And that's it on that. So does anyone have any questions before we go to the next one? Comments, concerns, please speak. Anyone? Okay, this next one, what are NAICS codes, which stand for North American Industry Classification System. North American Industry Classification System. And so you can see an example of, they have a 6-digit number classification here. The examples they're using is 721110, which is the sector, subsector, industry group, industry, and national industry. Now again, excuse me, one more thing here. Let me just go to the next slide. Yes, that's better there. That one is better. The North NAICS code, North American Industry Classification System. What is this code? Again, as you see here, 721110. The 72, this as an example, is the sector. The first one is a subsector. The second one is the industry group. And then the following one is the industry, and the 0 there is the national industry. Again, now this is just a number for an example to identify your business. Now, the NAICS code, North American Industry Classification System, is used by government agencies to identify your line of businesses and activities. It is mostly used for statistical purposes. While most states don't require a NAICS code during formation, 8 do. Now this could has changed. This could has changed now. I have not updated this either, okay? But the 8 at the time that I last checked this was Arkansas required these codes. Excuse me, Alaska, Arkansas, Connecticut, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, New Hampshire, and New Mexico. While not mandatory for LLC formation in most states, a NAICS code is essential for businesses seeking to secure government contracts. And we do have presentations that will come later on how to bid for a government contract and how to win a government contract. So it will be required for that. And also, if you haven't formed your business, and when you get ready to form your business, you're going to have to make this designation on that SS4 form. It's required. But there are certain states it's not required, but on the SSS form with the IRS is required. So how can you search for your business NAICS code? And then they got a website, www.naicscode.search. Now I do know here in the state of Mississippi, that link is connected to the Secretary of State's office website when you're searching for your code, and you just have to type it in. And that MOS here that I have is for Mississippi Secretary of State, has a link. And so an example is in the search box is enter the first word of your business, industry, example, restaurant, landscape, retail, real estate, etc. And then you click on submit, scroll through the list until you find your industry in the NAICS code. So you want to browse the industry underneath the search box, and you'll see a list of industries which you can click on. If you can't find your exact industry, just use the closest thing to it. If you need help determining the NAICS code for a business, you can contact the U.S. Central Census Bureau at 888-756-2427 for assistance. And again, the your state business purpose depend on the state where you're filing. For details on your state requirements, go to Free 50 State Guide. Some states allow for a general purpose. Example, the purpose of this business is to engage in any and all lawful activity under the laws of the state. Enter the state's name. If your state allows general purpose, then you can use the above text. If not, you'll need to list a few words or sentences about what your business does. It doesn't have to be extremely specific, and you are not going to be forced to do this forever. You can always change the purpose of your business at any time. You can enter just a few words. Example, pizza shop, real estate investing, landscaping. A short sentence. Example, restoration of old cars, life, coaching services and products, etc. So now this is actually codes of, let me see, yeah, this is for my for-profit entity, okay? This is actually was registered when I did my register, because in the state of Mississippi, we have to do an annual filing every year, and it's due April 15th. So they basically want to know if that business is still functionable. And so this designation that I have here of 458110 is for clothing and accessory wholesalers. It was different last year, the number. And then I have another one, the 424350, clothing and accessories retail. And the 541410 were interior design services. So that even though I don't go into anything except designing the people kitchen and bathrooms, so because I have experience in designing them and for the cabinetry to be installed or built, and et cetera, and the countertops and things like that. But all the other stuff that go in with that goes under this designation here. And they only require that you list 3 in the state of Mississippi. Now this one here is for the nonprofit that I have, the Entrepreneurs and Development Institute. So it was originally set up, this entity that I have now was originally set up to function as a religious entity. So I left it as it is because it's still registered with the IRS as a religious entity. And that designation stayed the same. So so the number for that in this state is, as you see on the screen, 813110, because we still can function if I ever wanted to, with some supporters, to go and establish a masjid. And I wanted to keep it that way too, and everything. So the other thing that we because now these are all the state of Mississippi designation, 813319, which is other social advocacy organization. So we planning on being an advocate for social work, good social work. And the other one, 926110, administration of general economic programs. And I think what we're doing today is a economic program with these presentations. So I want it to be, inclusive. So again, they only require you to list 3 things. So again, if you can't find your exact industry, just use the closest thing to it. If you need help determining the NAICS code for your business, you can contact the U.S. Census Bureau, at 888-756-2427 for assistance. And you also can go to the website, naics.com, they have a website for them for you can find out more information. Any questions or comment? Okay, again, I have to say this disclaimer: nothing in this PowerPoint presentation shall be interpreted as legal or tax advice. Rules and regulations vary by location. They also change over time and specific to your situation. Please consult a licensed professional if you have legal or tax questions. That's it on that one. So any questions, comments, please do so. We got 45 minutes left. If we need to go back over a slide, let's go back over it. If not, I got another one that we can look at. I was going to save it for next week. You all still with me? You all still with me? Hello?
Yes, brother, I'm still here with you. Look like I'm the only one.
But so that means you can hear me then. It's okay then.
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
maybe they dropped off and don't know it.
no, I'm still seeing
Mm-hmm.
several people,
Mm-hmm.
at least 3 people.
Right. Yeah, I'm still on the road, but I thought I would check and let you know we're still here.
Yeah. Okay, well that's good then.
Assalamualaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Sorry, I was trying to unmute. Uh, and which one of the business types do you get the best use out of?
Uh, LLC or uh, ownership? What is the best benefit?
Can you start your question over, sister?
Yes. Which type of business can you get the best use out of? LLC or just as a business owner?
Well, for me, I chose the LLC because I thought that would be best. This is my second LLC. The first one that I had was a joint LLC that I started. It was basically that's when I started my interior design business. Doing kitchens and bathrooms, and I was actually selling them the cabinetry too, with the installation of the tops, be it regular countertops or granite tops, and everything. But this most recent entity was already formed even before that second one. Matter of fact, come to think of it, because I had formed the Natural Health and Nutritional Center. That was my first registered business as an LLC, and it always was there, and I kept it updated. So I renamed it to Adams Enterprises, and so it is. I think again, I'm unable to answer that question to its completeness for you. I think that's why I was trying to recommend that we go and seek out that professional help.
Okay. So the LLC does it give you more protection?
My understanding it do.
Okay.
My understanding it do. Let me go back to that particular Go back to that particular. Okay. Because it sounded to me that's what you kind of was favoring. So let's go back to that one. Okay. So it says the limited liability companies is the U.S. specific form of a private limited company. It is a business structure that combines the pass-through taxation of a partnership or sole proprietorship with the limited liability of a corporation. It is a legal form of a company that provides limited liability to its owners in many jurisdictions. LLCs offer flexibility to business owners. An LLC is a hybrid legal entity having certain characteristics of both a corporation and a partnership, also proprietorship, depending on how many owners there are. As a business entity, an LLC is often more flexible than a corporation. It may be well suited for companies with a single owner. So again, that's where we recommend you reach out to someone that's, CPA or a tax attorney or someone to give you more insight on how to go about doing this.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Anyone else? I don't want to give too much in one day, and everything, and so we won't go into those next one into next week. So is there anyone else? If not, I know we had a designated time to conclude, and we don't. I'm just trying to look at the number of persons we have here, and if you all don't have any more comments or questions or concerns or additions to make, um, um, including here, if that's okay, Manira. Or do we need to go the whole 2 hours?
No, we don't. No, we can end prior to that. But yes,
What's the next
however you
program
like to
following
proceed.
me?
No, it's not. No, not for this morning.
Oh, okay
Later,
then.
later today,
Okay,
there will be another program,
okay,
Al
what?
Islam Focus at 5 p.m. Eastern
Okay,
Time.
okay, okay. Well, again, what we're going to look at next week, I'll go ahead and share that with you all. Let me, we're going to be discussing next week. I won't pull it up. Is how should married couples register a business, and how to run a business with your spouse and remain happily married. What we'll be discussing next week, if Allah permits. And based on the time, we will get into acquiring what is a DUNS number and how to acquire a DUNS number. And so, and yeah, that would be the following. Yeah, I don't think we'll do on the Don's number next week because we don't want to give too much at one time. And I hope this wasn't too much for today. But the reason I did it this way, because really uh, choosing that name and then choosing that entity and then having those NACIS codes really go together all in one. In my opinion of that. So if no one else have any comments or concerns, we can end here. I'll close out with dua. Is that good, Manira?
Yes, that's good. You can go right ahead.
Rabbana atina fi dunya hasanatan wa fi akhirati hasanatan wa aqina. Our Lord, bestow good upon us in this life and bestow good upon us in the life to come and save us all from the torment of the fire. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum.
Ameen. Wa alaikum assalam.